me back up. I hit rock bottom in 2015-16 when all that happened with my boyfriend that had passed. And then in 2019-2020, after I had Jude, I went through a little slump of not wanting to do anything. And I think that was postpartum depression. We lost a vehicle over it. Income was, down. And I finally said, we're not doing this again. Like, it's time to come out. So that's when I had joined the team and that, life happened. So 21 to 23 was pure nuts for me. I'll have to say that real estate kept me busy mentally. And then I feel like I had no time. So my siblings, I talk about this. I had one sibling that kind of checked out for a little bit, just had to take care of herself. I wouldn't say she checked out in a bad way, just, had to tend to things. And I feel like I couldn't. I had kids, that depended on me. So we're going to fast forward to 24 was when I came here. Or 26, yes. Okay. Real estate takes the slump. Was it late 22, early 23?
Late 22 is when the breaks. I mean, it was somewhere in between October and November, but like I felt it huge. I had to refi out a house to pay the company's bills.
Yeah.
Just to keep payroll. And I told everybody, I was like, I just put X amount into the company account. It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it. I was, and then I decided not to. And I said, this will float the company for 4 more months. And after that, like, I'm not blowing everything I've built for the last 7 years to try to keep this thing. If it's not going to work, it's not going to work. We'll just restructure and move on.
Yeah.
And the month before we ran out of those reserves, like it took back off and we started building the account.
Yeah.
And then we made some decisions, but this is not about that. So
No, you're good. I think it was an odd time for everybody. And during that time, lucky for me, my bills were low, but I was still feeling the effects. We were living in a small 2-bedroom house that was paid off, but it was still.
Was that Snake Ridge?
Yeah, that was Snake Ridge. And
that's how she really talks right there.
Yeah. I don't want to sound too, anyway.
I call Amanda a hater, so.
I add syllables to words that shouldn't be. So I'll just say that I was frugal and yet still feeling the effects. And so late 23, early 24, I was actually finalizing my divorce from Jude's dad as well. And one of the conditions was that we had to go to postmarital counseling as a part of our agreement.
Didn't y'all had a
Covenant marriage.
A covenant marriage? Do you recommend those?
No comment. He doesn't either. And we get along great. There's nothing wrong with it. I did it probably to keep myself more accountable, because back then I was quick to, if I'm done with you, I'm out.
Yeah.
And I thought it would kind of make me kind of reel me back in. So we'll fast forward through that. We were in counseling, and they had basically said we were done with it. They were about to write it off to the court so that we could finalize our divorce. And both of us talked about the trauma of losing my parents. So his family's from New Orleans, so he had gotten really close to my family. And so we were talking to the counselor about that, and she said, do you mind if I do like some grief counseling with you separately? I said, no, actually, I need it. I felt like I had dealt with so much grief in my life. I knew what to prepare for. But everybody's death prior to my dad's was very, I'm not going to say expected, but it was stuff we could not avoid. It was either traumatic or it was health related. And we had done everything we could to try to stop it. So Dad's, I felt some, I'm not sure what I was feeling, but I just knew it was going to take time. And so she and I got in a counseling session, and we went through everything I know about grief. And the next week, I started to notice, and I guess getting some of those feelings out, I was starting to be very irritated with people if they didn't do things a certain way, or if I didn't feel like they were motivated. I got very just aggravated, and it got to a point where I was treating everybody not well, and they knew it. This was at work and at home. And the next week, I went into the session. I said, something's wrong. Like, I'm not an argumentative, angry, irritable person, and I'm feeling it, and something is, something's up. And I knew I needed to make a change, and I knew financially it needed to change. I knew I was potentially looking at a different line of work, but at the time, I really thought I wanted out of real estate, because that's a stressful job anyway. Like, you got to really love it.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, it can be good stress, and I knew that I had done this for many years, so there was something missing, and for the first time, I couldn't pinpoint what it was. So we talked about it, and she said, can I ask you a question? I said, sure. She was like, do you feel abandoned? And when I tell you that word stopped me in my tracks. I said, what do you mean? She said, do you feel like your dad abandoned you? And you've never, like, I grew up in a house with both parents, not like they did divorce, but they were both highly involved. And I was, in my 30s at this point, and I said, and I just lost it crying. I said, that might be it. Like, you saw it, I didn't. But yes, I feel like everybody's not listening and not understanding my needs, and they're just doing what they want, and I'm being left in the dust. And she said exactly what you're feeling. And I was like, holy cow, like, I don't want to feel this way. My dad would have never purposefully abandoned me. And I don't think he was healthy when that happened. Like, there were some other things that came up in his autopsy that let us know that may have led to some of the things. And so I remember just sitting there weeping for a good hour. And I said, she's like, so now that we know, how do we, go from here? And so she got to talking about like things that I used to do prior to feeling this way and how I'm independent and this and that. And one thing led to another. And she was like, don't be afraid to make a change. Your whole life's changed. What do you have to lose? I'm like, I'm tired of change. Like, I need something to kind of like levelize here. And it wasn't about a week later. You listed your house for sale. And me being nosy, I texted him and I said, what in the is Harrison doing?
Wasn't there another comment made, though?
There was some comments made.
Somebody made a comment which made you curious.
It did. And I was just,
I bet that person wishes they wouldn't have made that comment.
I don't know that they care.
I mean, about the after effects, maybe.
I don't know. So and it was so funny because the things I knew, like I knew you guys were busy and you had a Calendly thing or whatever you make a
Calendly, yeah.
Yeah. And so Men and I were talking and she's like, we should go grab coffee. And I'm like, yeah, maybe, but you're so busy. And she's like, no, I actually got the morning free. I was like, all right, let's go have coffee and just go catch up. Because we had a lot of mutual friends and, just like to shoot the shit and whatnot. So we go for coffee, and my wheels had started spinning of like it was time to change. You were actually my last pick, but I was like, why not just go like see what the world has to offer? And so I texted Harrison. I said, by the way,
I find that hilarious.
Now looking back, I do too.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Was that in your head, that ranking system, that Harrison's the last pick, did it have, was it emotional? Was it business? Was it the noise? And let me define noise for everybody, like what others say, and not consumers, not the people that we worked with, not the people that we were in a relationship with, but our competitors.
Probably a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Was there anything I ever personally did to you?
Not necessarily. Like the only bad interaction, I wouldn't say bad, but like you said, that rookie year where you're all like trying to show your way, and I was like, God, he's arrogant, he's annoying. I don't deal with that. And now looking back,
I'm just
like,
competitive. That's
it's it. And I'm competitive, but I don't remember acting that way. But like looking back, I probably did when I was big into sports, and I probably did act that way. So
100%. And I like, but here's the thing that I would like for people to know, even though this podcast is not about me, is that I'll give you the trophy. I just want to earn it first.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'll give you everything I have.
I really work for it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to make you work for it. I'm going to raise the bar in competition. Yeah. Everyone's going to have to get better if you want to beat me.
Yeah.
And I'll give you the trophy. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so it's not that you were last on my list. I honestly wasn't sure if I need to make a change. A part of me was like, why don't you just go get a job where at least your work stops at 5 and you can focus on family, because we had that situation going on with you trying to, learn how to live that lifestyle. And so she and I texted you on the way there, and I was like, hey, are you going to tell Harrison? She's like, no, it ain't none of his business unless you want to tell him. So I texted you, and I was like, I'm going to have to put something on his calendar for him to show up. And you're like, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And my heart was like, holy cow. Like, he just dropped his busy schedule for me.
I rescheduled a listing appointment.
And I knew you were busy. There's no way you were available on a Friday morning.
No, I was still lead listing agent at the point. So I was.
Yeah. So when you stopped, I was like, okay, maybe people do like me.
I've always liked you.
That just went out. Is that okay?
Yeah,
okay.
It always goes out. I don't know. Jordan, like, can we?
It's probably got a.
It's at the battery? What is it?
Yeah, it's probably.
Oh, you can't disable that in the settings?
I've set it to the longest I can make it go.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, there's like not a never setting?
It's fine. I'm just making sure it didn't cut off. So we had the appointment, and my wheels went to spinning. I was like, you're kind of I wasn't at rock bottom, but like I had nothing to lose. My closings were down to almost nothing except what the team was producing. I made a little bit off that. And yet I felt like I was kind of at a fresh start point. And so something had to give, because you keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. That was happening.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it's definitely time for a change. I had reached out to Charles looking to see if he had work. He promised not to say anything, but I was like, I bet he does. But it was, I felt okay about it.
I can neither confirm Nor deny.
It
Plead the
was
fifth.
fine. I wouldn't have went to him if I wasn't worried about, that. But so Amanda and I met, and then you and I met, and I was very vulnerable in letting you know my situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I should not have been broke at that point in my life. But I was headed there. I wasn't completely, but we were very close.
Yeah.
And I did not want to go back to that. And so you and I and Amanda had some conversations on how to get me re-kickstarted and what that would look like. And at this point, I feel like I had nothing to lose. So throughout the weekend, she offered lots of margaritas and lots of Mexican food. If I would just
Which I feel kind of bad because, like, we have not been to dinner. Like, you and I have not been to dinner in what, like, probably.
Ever.
I mean, it's less than a year, but it's more than 6 months, which is far too much.
It is.
We need to go back to Don Chewy days. Oh, it's the weird thing is that we're so, like, we were busy when you came to the team.
Yeah.
Are we busier or slower now?
We were busier.
Right.
And I think our routines too, like schedules, we block off time for family, and there's just been a lot going on. Nothing negative, just
I
busy.
know. But I do wish I miss some of those things. Some of the parts I miss about being a small team.
Yes.
I think back to like when we were in the Movement Mortgage building on 18th Street.
Before my days.
It was, but we had fun. It was only like 8 of us.
Yes.
But like 5 of us would sitting there in the conference room, and it was a small conference room. Like everybody can hear everybody's phone calls, and we were all sitting in there lead generating. We were all sitting in there making Facebook posts and doing dumb content together. And don't get me wrong, the business wasn't as big. We weren't as profitable, but we had fun. Me and Sam were talking about that today. Like,
I do miss that kind of stuff. I didn't do that with y'all, but like I do enjoy camaraderie at times.
The same, and I really do wish that, and I think that there will be at some point, like we're trying to make a new hire right now for the company that hopefully will give some time back at some point. And, to do those things again, because like being in a relationship with your people is super important. But anyways, let's go
I told
back.
you my story get long-winded as I'm trying to get to
You're
the
good.
point.
We're going to cut this, Jordan. And so just keep going because
Okay.
we're already 8 minutes over 20. So we're just going to keep going. Let's do
Part two.
like 40, 45. He'll cut this in the middle and they'll just have to see
Do the
2
second,
releases.
Yeah. I promise I'm getting there though.
Yeah.
So I basically had in my mind other people I would work for, but after having the conversation with Amanda, I was like, I don't know that you can go anywhere else to kind of like provide these things
You've been to multiple places.
Right.
Are any of them different?
in their ways, but not like this.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like, and I talked to the guy I'm married to now. We were just dating at the time, and he was like, and, he's a commercial plumber. He's worked for the same company for 20 years.
Oh, I'm a big fan of Jay because he likes me. So
He did, and that was shocking because I ain't gonna say he don't like a lot of people, but we are bipolar opposites.
Yeah.
How we met, that's a whole story.
it was Tinder, wasn't it?
No, it was our kids, but our first date was seeing Rodney Carrington. So, yeah, if you don't get embarrassed by going to a Rodney Carrington concert, I know you good people. So I was like, we're finna do you in big, buddy. So anyway, I was telling him a little bit about it, and he could feel my tension and irritation with what I was dealing with. And he's like, you got to make a change. I can't make it for you. Only you understand where you need to be, but I support you. Like whatever people say, I'm going to defend you. So I had a closing, and I didn't want any. We had talked on Friday. Tuesday, I had a closing that I really, really needed, and I knew if I left before then, it would have to go through a couple people to get my money, and I couldn't go past Tuesday. Like it was that bad.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, oh, there's a check in my box.
Yeah, you collect them. You we'll wait till there's 3. We're good. Yeah.
But back then, I was like, all right, Tuesday, and I telling you, Amanda. She was on my phone, and the problem was the closing was like 3:30 in the afternoon, so I had all day to simmer on it, which everybody at the office knew something was up. Mm-hmm. So I finally pulled in my business partner right before and told him, and he knew something was off. And we're still friends, and he kind of was like,
Yeah, he's a great guy.
yeah, he's like, I'm not going there, but I understand where you are. Like, I support whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
I hate it's come to this, and, do what you want to do. And where I was at, I had been working with those same people since almost the beginning. So it was like breaking up to me.
It's tough.
And they told me, they're like, look, it's business. Like, we don't hold it against you. I hope you do well. And they knew at the time my heart was kind of in coaching and helping and still production, but I wasn't sure where to go. But I knew there was more opportunity.
Right.
So they were excited that I was going to get into that. And that was probably, I wouldn't say that the reason I came, but that was another, like, it was so funny. Olivia called me that same day, had no idea we'd been meeting, and she was just doing her thing. And I had no idea she was working here. I didn't know y'all. I know y'all coached, but didn't know there was that opportunity for some coaching. And so, yeah, I was like all on board. And so I came. I'll never forget. Tuesday I came. I told my broker. I got my stuff. I left. Y'all were going on a Zoom call at 4:45. I walked in the door at like 5 minutes till 5.
Yeah.
You did a second Zoom call to announce, and none of the people knew me. And I was like, dang, I don't even feel welcome. You know, like people come in the door and
I was introducing a celebrity they didn't even know.
Right. So then I was like,
Yeah.
okay, people really don't know you. And so we went across street to Paris, and I had started the shot that same week, and my stomach, I've never felt so many knots in my stomach between shot, food, anxiety, drinks. Like, I think I was tipsy at 5:30.
Oh, for sure. We were celebrating. It was a worthy celebration.
Yes. And so now looking back, I'm like, man, why didn't you do this sooner? You know, you would probably not be in the position you were in.
Yeah, but
It's paid off in 2 years.
but the part of life that I love so much is not the finished result.
Right.
It's the journey.
Yeah.
The journey's fun, and you have to taste bitter to know what sweet really is.
Yeah.
And so, I think that you've gotten a taste of everything. So tell us, and now we're not going to discuss like numbers here.
Yeah.
So I am selfishly going to direct this portion. So you have been successful, like by anyone's measure. If someone were to say, has Kelsey been successful in real estate? What would people say?
I think they would say yes.
Well, yeah, for sure. I think that's
I'm like, what's
not
this
I think. I
question?
know that is the answer.
Yeah.
Everyone would say yes.
Well, so when everything happened, I knew to prepare for the negative, the positive, the wave. What I didn't expect was the 35 phone calls the day we aired the news. You just made the biggest move, and because real estate in this area shifts. If you'll notice, people leave brokerages that have been there for years, and they all do it around the same time. It feels like there's waves of recruitment and things. So
It's typically end of the year or first of the year.
yeah, and as seasons change, like when COVID, all that died
Yeah.
off, people thought, they're in a bad place. It was really the market. And so people like, you just made the first big move of real estate. And I was like, I wouldn't try to set no trend. I was trying to survive.
Right, yeah.
And so I was not expecting the amount of overwhelmed. One, there was a lot of positive comments. Nothing negative from where I come from, just like you are about to see a whole different side of things. And when I came here, I had borrowed money to basically live off of, and paid. It was probably $10,000 to $11,000, and I paid it back in full in 3 months. And
Are you talking about? Okay, yeah.
Like I came in March.
Mm-hmm.
I had borrowed right at $10,000 for just various things, and basically to live off of till I could get my feet on the ground again. And I paid that in full by I think June, on top of having money to live off of,
Yeah.
build a reserve. So I knew right then it was not a bad decision.
Like already going well. Yeah. So 21 was the golden year of realtors. When we talk to agents, when we ask them to give us like their GCI and all that stuff, no one gives me last year's numbers. No one gives me this year's numbers. They go, well, I'm a 50 unit producer or I'm a 30 unit producer. And I'm like, I just looked at your MLS stats. Like, unless you're selling a ton of off market, no.
Yeah.
And like, oh, well, in 21 does not count.
Well, I made a lot of money, and I was doing more admin work because
Right.
we were so busy. I did some of my own, but I was adminning for the team because it was too chaotic.
But right. No, because that's really one of your superpowers, which we have fully exploited, is that she communicates well and she keeps up with documentation and all of that well, which is why she's a perfect fit for her role.
Yeah.
Which is Kelsey is our lead listing agent these days. I retired out and she took over my position. Sam stepped up, and then Sam just retired out. And then now it is Kelsey and Jade.
Yes.
And so that's been fun.
Yes.
But anyway, so that was the famed best year, right? Where everybody made the most money?
That year didn't count as far as what was normal, but I did have 22, 23, 24, you could say, were average years for me. Like I made about the same those 3 years.
Yeah.
And so my first year here, you would say, I came in March. I didn't get my first paycheck till May. So let's just say half of a year. And I only got paid once before I had come. I made the same in 24 as I had every other average year here, and only worked 6 months here, truly. Got paid 6 months.
Okay. And then what happened with your first full year with us? Once you had been in our systems.
Yes. A full calendar year.
Yeah, full calendar year. What happened to your income?
It doubled.
It doubled.
And it was already, let me back up. So my average years were probably a little above average for some agents.
Oh,
the normal
definitely.
agents. So
Yeah.
let me just say that
Well,
doubling.
the average is 6 to 8 units. So yes, you always did
Yes.
better than that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I actually had a livable income. It was just a roller coaster because it would be great, slow. So I had kind of learned to balance it. It was actually, so my average years in real estate were still more than I made as a rad tech. And I had a college degree to do that. So
Right.
if that puts it in perspective, doubling my income here put me well over a 6-figure income that I had not seen except for COVID years.
And consistent. Like, and I've already looked at your numbers before we came on today. Like, and you're absolutely on track. So you typically in your first quarter you'll make about 20% of your income. Q3 and Q4 will be 30% of your income, and then Q4 should be about 20% of your income. So it's a 20, 30, 30, 20 is how it typically rolls. Now, I've seen people, like I just saw Chris Rux do dumb things in January. Like, I hope that he follows the 20, 30, 30, 20 principle. But even if he doesn't, he's going to have a great year. And so, I mean, I looked at your numbers and your income for this year, and you are on pace to do that or more again. Yeah.
Rex and I have actually had a conversation. He's like, I don't get close to people till they've been here a while because I need to know they're serious. And
Well,
I'm like,
he sees people come in here and go, Harrison, I'm willing to work. I'm willing to do anything.
Yeah.
We get here and we hand them a phone. They're like, what do you want me to do that? I'm like, work.
Yeah.
My kid's sick.
Yeah. Well, I
We
mean,
never see him again.
that brings
Yeah.
me to a whole new discussion of how, like, I get excuses and, I try not to let them bog me down. So when they do, I feel guilty and I'm like,
Yeah, but I think that's part of your story that people aren't understanding. I don't know if you truly went into that earlier.
yeah,
So,
no.
I mean,
For sake of time, I did not. But that's a
well,
whole
we're
story.
cutting this into two. So,
Yeah.
and so we have about 12 minutes, and I think we can get that in.
Yeah.
So Kelsey's kid Jude is he has autism.
He's level 3, which is deemed the severe.
Okay, so I didn't know there was levels.
Yes, so
Okay.
levels. So used to there
Educate
was
me.
yes. So
And
there
then-
used to be like, and I'm not a doctor, so please GPI it if you want, or GPT it if you want.
GPI? What is a GPI?
I don't know.
Yeah.
There used to be like, there was a spectrum, and there still is, but there was like, they'd say it was severe, or you have Asperger's, which means you're just socially but you're super good in school or whatever. Like they may have diagnosed it as other things. Like Asperger's was just Asperger's.
That's
and
like
now
Elon.
Right now it's considered autism level 1. So level 1, I didn't know this till we went to go. So that's a whole story. We had to leave the state to get a diagnosis early. And I didn't want a diagnosis, but insurance will only pay for certain therapies with a diagnosis. And some doctors don't want to diagnose before a certain age. So therefore we're just delaying the kid help until then. So I left the state to go get that diagnosis. That's a whole story in itself. One of the things my mom said before she died is do whatever it takes to get him the best care. And that rings in the back of my mind a lot. So we went to Little Rock, Arkansas to a autism clinic, and then we still go there yearly. And it's just a neurology clinic, but they actually had a doctor that just dealt with autism. So I thought we're going to the expert here. And we got there. He's like, hey, there's different levels. I was like, oh, educate me. And he's like, well, it's a new thing. So level 1 is going to be more of your social, either not necessarily delayed, but they may be super good in school, but have they can care for themselves. Let me just put it that way. They require minimal help or care. They just do things differently.
Right.
Level 2 is going to be kind of in the middle. They may be able to speak, but they still might need some help and assistance from other people. And they eventually can, you go to enough therapy, they could kind of do a lot on their own, but they still may need to live with family. But they're pretty independent, so to speak. Severe level 3 is somebody that needs 24-hour care. And when Jude was diagnosed, he was like 2.5, 3. But he said he's somewhere between 2 and 3. We won't know till he's older because some kids, like, they're just delayed, but they get to a point they're able. But he still doesn't talk, and he's 6. He does a little, like, words here. And he speaks with a communication device, and he does a lot of sign language. But basically, level 3 is all, like, 24-hour hands-on care. They cannot. So he does go to therapy. He has learned to do a lot of things I didn't know he could do because I guess I've done it for him for so long. But he can brush his own teeth, and I didn't know that. He can do a lot of, like, he dresses himself now, but he requires, because he's considered a danger. Like, he will walk out of the house into the road if, there's not safety measurements. That's why we live where we live.
Yeah.
It's safe. So I guess to bring what you were going to say, he requires somebody always just standing there over him, watching him. We've learned what works and doesn't work, and he will have good and bad days. So, you can do all the therapy in the world. It helps, and it doesn't still help the sick days, the bad days, the moon phases. Like, there's a lot that goes into how he, lives.
Yeah. And we've gotten to see that firsthand. Like, he comes to the office. This is a Jude-friendly space, although we completely run out of candy every time he's here.
Set his partner's title. I got to take him there today.
Yeah. But I mean, golly, you think about all the excuses that people come up with not to be successful. And you go through your story.
Yeah, I share it because I don't, and I'm really trying to learn just because of advancements I want to have in the company, but I have to be very careful when certain people are like, well, I can't do this, I got this going on.
Because you just want to like throw something, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And I'm like, you know, babysit while you're at it. 'Cause
Yeah.
let me
Hey,
just,
let me give you my excuse.
Yeah.
And then you go see if you can be successful with my excuse.
yeah.
Right?
But then I also
Yeah.
understand I've been through a lot of trauma like leading up to this, so I think it kind of prepared me on how to deal with it. But so for some people, what they're going through is the worst thing they've ever been through. So yes, it is bad.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like, come on, get up, let's go.
But I think perspective is super important. Like
Yeah.
people should, it's not about the spirit of comparison, because I think, comparison is the thief of joy. It really is. And I remember this. So sorry, Jordan. Jordan's going to hate this. So I was PEC'd when I was 21 years old. Jordan's like, we can't keep talking about this. And why does everybody on this team at one point in their life
I think you got to have a
want
little
to not breathe anymore?
You can't just have an easy life be on this team. You probably won't fit in.
Yeah, it turns out we have a fellow PECer in the room. Didn't know that.
Probably could have our own team.
Anyway, we're not laughing about being PEC'd, but when you've been there, you can, whatever. So you can talk about it. And I remember being there and looking around and going, your life ain't so bad, man. Like, you can do this.
I
You
think I
can.
learned that when Dad was, the same thing happened to my dad, and we'd go for visits, and he'd talk about other people, and I'm like, bro, you're here too. Like, something got you here, but looking around, you're like, and then you hear the stories, and you're like, that's why I say my childhood growing up was actually great. I don't have any, like most people have trauma that led them there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't until like late high school, early adulthood things happened, and so yeah, I mean, like you said, perspective is.
Yeah. And so I look at you and I go, what's my excuse? No, seriously. I mean, and I think that anybody watching this should ask, guys, this is a personal growth podcast, by the way. Like, this is the goal of this is I don't care if you join our team or you do business with us or not.
Yeah.
The goal of this is that you become a better human being.
Yeah, yeah.
And so what is your excuse why you're not being successful?
Yeah, and I don't know if this even relates to this, but coming on the team, it's not been like there's been bad days, good days. You guys have always been here. You call and check on me when you don't know I need it.
Well, we care about you.
You show up when people have passed. But I joked with it about DJ. I said, we're like on the HL financial and fitness program, like my health. Let me back up. The wrinkles are worse. The stress is worse.
I can't solve that portion. I apologize.
But like physically, I'm around people that care about their health and well-being and family. So like I've lost 45 pounds since I've been here. And
My girl.
Not from starving myself, and not because I feel like I need to fit that model, but because I see others around me like, not encouraging the weight loss. Let me back up, but just that care about that.
Yeah.
And so it makes me want to, I'm very much whoever I'm around. That's who I'm not gonna say act like, but.
Well, it's a
surround
rule
yourself.
of law.
Yes. Actually, they told me that when I got in real estate. Brahman, I think, did. She's like, you're supposed to reevaluate your circle every 3 to 5 years. And literally, it has been, if you look at my life and relationships, every 3 to 5 years, it has changed.
So I got a year and a half left.
You better you're up in the game, so I'm going to up it with you.
I was about to say, I just took on national partners. We're about to expand into Dallas. Like, what else do you want from me?
Yeah, no, that's just it. The circle I had didn't,
Yeah.
they were kind of stuck, and so it was time to reevaluate. So I'm actually excited because it's kind of like my life calmed down a lot this last year. We got a new house, and it's twice the size of our old one. I actually was able to pay for that remodel in full, in cash.
Love that.
Yes. So we're still debt-free on the
We're
mortgage.
able to help your daughter get a car.
Yes, bought her a new car, took her to the Bahamas.
You were able to get
the same
yourself
year.
a car.
Yes. That's a whole story.
Still happened.
I had to do it.
It was a necessity purchase. And,
Well, it was.
But you were able to.
Yeah.
Because
no income.
would you have been able to do both of those things and go on that vacation and take care of that remodel had you not got uncomfortable and chosen your last pick?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I wouldn't have. Like, looking back, I was like, well, I spent a lot of money. And look at the opportunities, like, that I did that I wouldn't have been able to.
And one day our flip house will close. Hey, the good news is that rent is just building up into that profit. So you're making more money every month.
I pass that house every day, and I'm like, Harrison's never going to trust me when I say, hey, I got another house. He's going to be like, nope.
I mean, we have great people in there. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Like the best.
They seem to be.
Oh, best people ever.
Yeah.
So
Every time I drive by, they're like the 900 limbs that fell in their yard.
And they took complete
They did.
accountability. They didn't ask us to come fix it or
Yeah.
nothing. They're just good human
Great.
beings. They're my favorite tenants, and they're like owner financing technically right now.
Yeah.
Until their house sells in Oak Grove, but like they're the best people that have ever lived in a house that is titled in our name. Like they're awesome. So yeah, no, that's super cool. All right, so where do we go from here? I think that was probably a good place for you to start cutting out. Let me go to my one last final thought. All right.
Okay.
All right. So again,
I never know what's going to come out of your mouth, and it excites me because I'm like,
it's something very stereotypical that you would assume that I would talk about. All right. So you have been in the groups that like to talk about us and our model and all that stuff. You've been in the other side of the conversation. You have now seen the other side of the fence.
yes.
All right. We've talked about your finances and how they've doubled. You've even made more than you did in 21.
Yeah.
Did in 21. I
Yeah.
can't speak English.
Actually, I made 50 grand more than I did in 21.
Not too bad. Not too bad. I'm looking at Jordan's face over here going, are you kidding me right now? Like,
I tell Jordan all the time, I want to do more videos and stuff. He's like, just come on. I'm like, Jordan will probably have to go take some medicine and have a drink when we get through talking.
Yeah.
Because I talk so much.
but all those things happened. And so your income went up, your productivity went up. You've worked on your health. You
Got married.
got married. So is your family situation better or worse than when you came over here?
Yeah, it is. And he's he's a fan. He's
Yeah.
a cheerleader, I guess you could say. But yeah, he's a fan.
He says he likes my preaching. So I like him.
The first award show was like 2 months into being here, and he's a man of few words. When he speaks, you listen, type thing. I mean, not like in a weird way. It's just
Because he does not
he
interject
doesn't-
his opinion
yeah.
often. Yeah.
No, so when he does, it's stirring.
Yeah.
We were walking to the car. He's like, "It's probably the smartest decision I've seen in a while." So what you mean? He's like, "I like that dude." I was like,
Let's go.
Yeah, I just kind of laughed, and we talked about something. I don't even remember now, but I was like, yeah, people think it's a cult. He's like, I mean, let him be. So
It is a cult. It's a personal grth cult.
yeah,
If
it's
you
not
don't
like
if you don't grow, you got to go.
yeah, but it's
like-
not like a cult as in like I'm gonna be changing. Well, I guess I did change my habits, but like I'm listening to a book about. I probably shouldn't say because I don't want to get cut, but. Some people I watched growing up that I really like, I met them and they were on TV, they're famous, and like some things that went on behind the scenes that the kids are writing about. And like that kind of cult is like where they were led to believe things and live their lives in ways that they thought were normal that weren't. And
Yeah.
it took them getting to adulthood to realize, no, that ain't that kind of cult.
No.
We're not making you change and dress a certain way.
This team is about elevating finances,
Yeah.
creating new habits, creating consistency, creating opportunity. We encourage, like we have tons of moms and single moms on the team. We don't say, why aren't you working if your kids? We go, take care of your kids. The team will support you.
Yeah.
Like,
and it took
we-
me a while to realize, think
Yeah.
that because I know y'all work so hard and
Yeah.
and other places I've been that's been not an issue, but I could just tell like a lot of opportunities were changing for me because they were worried about that. And instead you were like, I don't care. You gave me opportunity that I never expected.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a little more money and life to be grand, and it exceeded that, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And that's our purpose. We want you to be healthier mentally, physically, spiritually, all those things. And not for me, for you, because I just want a lot of amazing business partners.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we're like family. I mean, like the Ruxes, I think, are my best friends. Like they call me on Christmas Eve at 1 a.m. And I'm like,
Don't
hey,
call
man.
me at 1 a.m. ever.
Well, no, I think Jen knew I was up, but it's like one of
Yeah.
those deals where, like, I have family. Like I think Jude might be Chris Rux's best friend right now. I think we lost title there.
I mean, fair enough. Like that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Story.
But all right, so let me make my last point. All right. So the number one thing that I hear about us is you can't make money with our splits. And our splits don't make sense. Our financial model doesn't make sense.
Why do you think I sent the text I want to send the other day? Like, I'm not a recruiter, and I think my story can recruit without asking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you've embodied it, right? You are social proof. So Ben Kinney, who is one of our partners, he was number one realtor in the country at one point. He was doing a coaching session the other day. He said, if you want people to do something, you need to do three things. You need to tell them to do it. You need to show them how to do it, and you need to provide them social proof. Right? And it's not telling people like, hey, if you did these things, you could do this. It's going, hey, I want you. So A, I'm telling you what to do. Number two, I'm going to show you how to do it, and I'm going to provide the tools. And let me show you somebody that you can ask a question to that can tell you exactly that result that I promised is exactly what they got. And they did everything we asked them to do. They did it how we asked them to do it. And they did it with the tools we handed them. And this is that person.
And it's not that the way I was doing it was necessarily wrong. It works for some people, and I have nothing negative to say about that.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, you have to do it his way or no way. I mean, there's been some, disagreements. Nothing like that we hate each other, but we've had our, not even words, just like, hey, I don't like it this way. And we both one thing I will say that surprised me about you, and I should have known better, but I guess I thought, well, he knew everything about real estate, so anything new to him, he's not going to listen because he knows the best way to do it because it's worked obviously in your numbers. I've talked to agents that whatever he does works. We may not like the guy, but what he's doing is working.
The market follows us for a reason.
Well,
Yeah.
So what was crazy is when I came over, I would just kind of tell my side of things. You're like, I actually like that, let's do it. And I was like, holy cow.
Well, this is a democracy at the end of the day. This is
Right.
not a dictatorship. Now, if I believe
I just
that
didn't know that, I guess.
Yeah,
I think you would listen to it because,
Yeah.
obviously what I did didn't work. And so I was like, he'll never listen. And actually, we've taken both sides of what we know and put them together, and it's actually gotten better.
Yeah, collaboration is key. And don't bring in business partners if you're not willing to collaborate.
Yeah.
If you're going to go in and beat your chest and go, no, my way or the
Yeah.
highway, it's never going to work.
Yeah.
My name's on the sign, but it doesn't mean anything when we get into a room and we talk about
Right.
how we become successful together.
Right.
So it is possible.
Yes.
It's
possible.
You can.
And it wasn't my favorite, but at the time, I was like, what do I got to lose at this point? And I mean, again, doubled my income with those splits. But also what is paid for out of those splits was things I had to manually pay for elsewhere. So to me, we actually did the math. I think me and you did the math, or I did it, and then I brought it to you, and you were like, holy cow.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people don't understand the GCI versus the net income, right? People like to tout, this is what I made in commissions. But how much did you actually bring home to your family? Well, that much. So you didn't pay for any leads? Oh, well, yeah, I paid for leads. Okay, well, that's not money you brought home to your family. All right, you didn't signs? Oh, well, yeah, I had to pay for signs. Photography, and, let me rant for just a second. I am noticing a wave of realtors taking pictures with iPhones and their personal cameras again. Please stop.
Oh, because
hire a professional photographer. It is insulting to your clientele to go and take pictures with your random digital camera where you're not trained. Hire a professional photographer.
Yeah.
We're developing one in-house right now, but Jonathan Webster's a great option.
Yeah. And he does it for a lot of people.
Yeah, he shoots for everybody.
Yeah, and so we actually did the math one time on a deal. And, of course, it's all going to depend on how the commission was done. But I did some math one time on a deal that I would have closed elsewhere and closed it here. Mm-hmm. I think it was a $400 difference.
Mm-hmm. Except for you, but we carried the expenses and you didn't?
Exactly. When I crunched numbers, I think I was down to a $150 difference after fees. And I thought,
but if we can...
There's probably more that would have went into it. I didn't have a TC. I was the TC.
Yeah.
Things like that. Like
time that you were giving back so that you could go do more. So, for instance, because I know your numbers from last year, Kelsey managed and sold 93 listings last year. And then she also, on top of that, had 27 personal sales. Mm-hmm. She did 120 deals last year. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a lot.
All right. So you were able to do that, follow Jude's schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Take care of a level 3 severe child with autism. Mm-hmm. Get married. Get season tickets to the Moccasins games.
Oh, yeah. So, and that's the same year we went to the Bahamas. My daughter graduated high school. So I have another kid.
Went to the Bahamas, took weeks off from work. You were able to do all that.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy. It's just so nuts how a support system and leverage and all those things work.
Yeah. Even my daughter, she's like, because she didn't really get to see it till she was almost grown. So she's just she remembers the broke days.
Yeah.
So now she's like, hey, you're going to be $20 for this. Almost like I have it. And I'm like, I guess, and so, and there's been a lot that she's got to experience and see through this, and it's actually motivated. She comes up here at lunch. Matt asked her the other day, was she on payroll? And she's like, no, I just like coming up here.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Happy
So,
to have her.
yeah.
We're a family-friendly place over here at the HL.
Yeah. And she's, I mean, I guess I say she's learned a lot from being up here. She's very independent. She cooks, like, she meal preps. She's 18. Let me back up. And she just got a job where they're going to pay for her to go back to school in a career that she wants to do. So, like, she meal preps for the week and brings it up here and heats it up and just almost like she works here, during the lunch. And so,
Happy to have her. Yeah. So anything else you want to get off your chest today?
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot, but
Yeah, we're going to have to bring you in for round 2.
yeah,
Yeah, Kelsey's like, just to hang out. It'll be fun.
all the time.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank y'all for joining episode 2, which is probably going to turn into episode 2 and 3 of the Rising Standard, an agent podcast built to help you grow. You can do it with us. You can do it against us. I really don't care. Just hope you watch and enjoy something, learn something.
Yeah.
Get rid of your excuses. I think that's the thing that people should get out of this. Get rid of your excuses. You don't have any. We all have mental health. Like we disclose some things that we don't really talk about publicly today.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, I think people get the misconception of, that, if you listen to the backgrounds of a lot of our agents and, where was I going with this? The excuse thing, I had it and it just went away.
It just went away.
But I mean, I guess, not that that you have to come here to be successful. That's not what I'm saying, but what do you have to lose? I mean, the noise was very loud at one time, but they weren't paying the bills. So I had to literally, and that was
Ooh,
what.
that's a good quote.
Well, that's kind of what my counselor, she didn't say that, but she was like, these people didn't care about you and that bank account went negative. Yes, they did, and they couldn't help me. What are you going to do for you? And I have spent years pleasing other people, and I still struggle with that. I'm learning. And, that was like, was when she said that, I was like, all right, sign me up.
Who you surround yourself with is going to be, if not the largest determining factor, it will be one of. It'll be top 3 easy on whether you achieve your goal or not. And when I say success, I don't mean just financial success. I mean being a good human being. I mean raising successful kids. I mean just being a good person in general. Who you hang out with, who you surround yourself with is going to be a huge part of that. And I think just changing your atmosphere and knowing that you're hanging out with people who are in the trenches with you every day, who work just as hard as you every day, who have things that matter to them outside of work every day, and still we all manage to go get it done.
That's right.
Every day. Yep. All right. Today we rose the standard. Let's go sell some real estate.
Let's go.